Hello. I'm going to invite you to just notice in your body right now or in your mind, which is the strongest emotion going on inside of you right now. Just take a look. And if you like, have a piece of paper and just write it down. So which emotion is the strongest in you right now? Write it down. And then notice where in the body you feel this emotion the strongest. Where is it represented the most? Just notice what's happening in your body when this emotion is here. And then feel free to write it down. Which color is the emotion? And be sure to be specific. That the emotion that resides in that part of the body. So what color is it? And when you know that, how old is it? And that might be, its chronological age, or it might be how long it's been there inside of you. And feel free to not worry too much about logics. If it wants to tell you that it's 100,000 years old, okay, maybe it is. We're not checking it. This is not a test. We're just noticing, and maybe for the first time, taking a look at the emotion without judging it or interpreting or applying logic to it. So, how old is it? And again, feel free to write it down. Now, get a feel for how much it weighs. How much does it weigh? Is it like 4 tons? Is it 4 grams? Is it light as a feather or completely without weight? There are no limits, no logic. Just get a concrete, because if it wants to tell you that it's really, really heavy, that's wonderful. Check again. Can you get a number? Good. Okay. Now I would like you to notice, what kind of substance is this? Is it solid? Is it gas? Is it soft? Is it flowing? Just notice. The more detail we get, the more connection we get. And connection is what will ultimately lead to, the fulfillment of the need in the emotion. And then I want you to notice what kind of shape it is. Is it, geometrical shape? Is it round, square? Is it a cloud? Is it a person? Some kind of being? Just notice. And then also take a look. Is it a she? Is it a he? Or is it a it? And that might be relevant after a while. And also, again, feel free to write it down. So now you have some information, and you have showed this being, this emotion, that you are willing to listen. And what I would like you to do is direct your attention to that place in your body, to that emotion, with all these details that you have just gotten. And just say, hello. And then notice what happens. Pay attention to what's happening with you and what is happening with it. And if it replies, be sure to thank it. After you have said hello, I would suggest or invite you to give it your attention and ask, is there something that you need? And listen. It's very important that you don't make up the answer. It's important that you ask it and listen. And when you get an answer, you remember it or write it down, and then be grateful. Thank it for choosing to communicate with you. And if you don't get an answer, that you can ask why it doesn't want to talk to you, or ask what's stopping it from talking to you. But I'm going to assume for the rest of this recording that you do in fact get answers to your questions. And when you've written down whether or not, or taken note of in some way, whether or not it's something that it needs, if the answer is yes, we simply ask, what is it that you need? And then listen for the answer. And then notice inside of you, once you know what it needs, is this something I can give? Is this something I can understand? It's powerful to convey to this emotion, this almost being that we've allowed into being. I understand why you feel that way. I accept that you feel that way, and I'm willing for you to receive what it is you need. These are very important parts to it receiving what it needs. Another very interesting question to ask is, what is it you help me with? What is it you do for me? And always listen for the answer. It's extremely important that you don't make up the answer yourself. Just listen for the answer. What is it you do for me? What is it you help me with? And then make sure that you listen. I would invite you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I would invite you to listen for the answer. What is it you do for me? And when they reply, see if you can find some understanding. See if you can find some room for it inside of yourself. And notice what's happening to it. How does it feel about you listening? And how does it feel about, being asked these questions? And how do you feel when these questions are asked? And then it's time to get creative. And it's very difficult to make it general guided meditation for, or session for, what happens next, because you got to play it by ear. You have established a communication. And the most important thing you've done so far is listen without judging or interpreting. You're just listening. And it's also that you've given it room to communicate directly to you. Now, the most important thing is to allow or to meet this emotion, this sort of being, with understanding and openness and spaciousness. And if you feel by now that you're not able to do that, you're welcome to get in touch with me and we can book a session. And if you are able to meet it with this openness and this spaciousness, I would very much encourage you to complete the conversation. A very good question to ask is there anything you have tried to tell me that I have not heard or understood? And listen for the answer. And when it feels, happy and complete, you invite it to stay in your body wherever it wants to stay. And let it choose where in your body to stay. And then ask it, ask yourself, is that okay with me? Can it stay there? And if the answer is yes, then allow that to happen. Allow it to be there. And sometimes in this progress or in this process, you might hit a snag where you feel you can't move forward. And a very powerful thing to say to the being, if you're able to, if it's true, it's extremely important to be honest with your emotions in this kind of process, because it's going to know if you're lying because it's inside, and you're basically lying to yourself. You're just personifying the emotion to be able to create the kind of connection that is so healing. But if you are able to, if it's true for you, you can invite the emotion to stay the way it is inside of you for as long as it wants to. It's very important that we don't start this with the intention to change it or to fix it or to make it better, because that's counterproductive. That will make the emotion dig its heels in even more than it has done so far. So to allow it, to invite it to stay in you for as long as it wants or needs, the way it is a very powerful tool. And you might not ever have to talk to it again, and then you might have to talk to it again. Emotions are a part of this life, which I think is so very important to get a feel for, to remember, to experience. This life it's full of emotions and reactions and things that happen. So we'll never be done. And the moment you stop feeling different kinds of emotions is when it's kind of over. So that's not the goal. The goal is to be alive and to be happy about being alive the way alive works. So you've gotten a taste for it. You may even have done some great work. This is, if you don't hit a snag, this is basically all you need to be able to connect with every part of you that needs your attention. And whenever you feel, upset or sad or angry or whatever, it's your attention, the connection, your affection that will always do the trick. And sometimes we're not able to, and that's natural. So then we need some guidance, and that's okay. You can send me a message. Or, ask a friend. And if you can do it by yourself, then it's wonderful. I've had some really heavy emotions where I've been, sort of angry with my husband. So angry I want to kill him. And if I talk to him about it, I know that he's going to have his point of view, his emotions, and his things about it. So that's not going to be a great solution. But then I look at the anger and I tell it, or me, I'm allowed to be angry. And then I say to my anger, you're welcome here. It's okay for you to be angry, and the short version of what we've done now. Just say hi. What's up? And sometimes it tells me surprising things because I'm angry and I judge it and I think, oh, I shouldn't be like this and I'm such a troll. And then the anger, when I ask it directly, it says, oh, I'm actually quite sad, or I'm frightened I'll be left now, or I'm scared of something. And that's the soft underbelly of the anger. And when you give it the attention and you say, well, that's okay. You can be here. I don't need anything from you. You're welcome the way you are. And I actually understand why you feel that way. Based on our history, I get why this is active in me now. So, this was a little session where you possibly at least got to connect with yourself a little bit and got a feel for how things are moving inside of you. I wish you the very best. Thank you very much and good luck.